Omicron is now a name that you know. Should you? Is it time to be worried about this? Is it what should be front and center for us? Is it so threatening that we all needed to think about this over Thanksgiving? Did we get information to back up that level of concern? The CDC certainly thinks so. Stepped up its guidance today, urging all vaccinated adults to get a booster shot. Now, interestingly, the head of the WHO says the best way to keep, not the head, the guy we just had on from the WHO says, hey, look, the best thing is to get the rest of the world vaccinated. That the booster shouldn't be the priority. It's getting people that fundamental basis of prophylaxis. So is that what we should be doing? The United States has been very generous. The man from the WHO actually called that out, Dr. Singer, saying thanks to US for 275 some odd million doses. But should we be doing that instead of the booster? Let's bring in Chief Dr. Sanjay Gupta. I hope Thanksgiving was good. You know I am thankful for you as a friend and a colleague. Appreciate you. Brother, always. So, am I putting too much water on this fire?
No, I mean, look, you got to remember that when we talk about these variants that are coming out, there have been thousands of variants. There have been a few that we've heard of: Alpha, Beta, Delta, Omicron, that have risen to these variants of concern level. There's others that are variants of interest that really never amount to anything. So there's enough signals here, Chris, that the scientific community is worried. They've seen it become the dominant strain in South Africa quickly. That speaks to its contagiousness. They still got to learn more about that. It's in 15 plus countries now around the world, despite the fact that the first specimen that identified this was collected just 3 weeks ago. So this is all unfolding real time. We're seeing the scientific process unfold. But I think it's these mutations, and these are just, again, these signals. There's one called E484K. You don't need to remember the name, but that's one that can sometimes cloak itself from antibodies, so maybe making it less susceptible to the vaccines. There's another one that can potentially make it more transmissible. When you add them all together, is it going to lead to something that's really problematic? They don't know. But this is kind of like we're going around a blind curve, got some bad signals there, pumping the brakes a little bit. I think that's how they're approaching this right now.
I guess here's my concern, Doc. And I wouldn't be surprised if you share it. People are so skeptical. They are looking to find a hole in any suggestion that is a function of some type of political agenda being thrown at them. Why play into that here by saying could be, instead of just saying, hey, we're watching this one. We need a couple of weeks to figure out this, and this. And then not saying anything until you know the answers.
I think part of the issue when it comes to something like this in public health is by the time you react, after you've collected all that information, you're reacting late. You've got to be proactive in terms of how you react here. And it doesn't mean, massive actions, shutdowns and things like that. I think it's, again, you're going around a blind curve here. You don't know what lies on the other side, so you're pumping the brakes as opposed to continuing the same speed or even accelerating. Some of the things, Chris, in terms of the vaccines, the boosters, we don't know about the crossover effect impact it'll have on Omicron, but I think most scientists say it's going to have some. So if you then boost on top of it, you get a bigger cushion effect, which is why I think now the boosters are being recommended for all adults, because even if those antibodies aren't as effective at Omicron as they have been at Delta and Alpha and Beta, the more antibodies, hopefully the more protection. I can't say it for sure. Nothing's 100% certain, but I think that's the sort of thinking here. But also things like masks, I mean, the non-pharmaceutical interventions like masks, like, some physical distancing, again, not shutting down, those can go a long way regardless of the variant. So I think we're probably going to be hearing about some more of that in the days and weeks to come.
But we know that works. Look at what the flu was like last year. It was almost none of it. I don't even know that I heard from anybody who said they had the flu because we were doing all these other things. And just to point out, Sanjay says we are not without data to cause concern. Hospitalizations in one province in South Africa show a threefold jump in the last 3 weeks that may well be corresponding to this. So that should be put into the mix too of why we care about it. I'm with you, Sanjay. I just want to make sure that we give ourselves the best chance to be straight with people and not create problems, before we get a chance to explain what the real problem is.
Yeah, no, don't panic, but have a plan. and talk about the fact when you're certain of things, and also be very, very honest when you're not certain. And I think that's happening here.
Failing the plan is planning to fail. Dr. Gupta, as always, you're a plus. Appreciate